I gotta wait till it boils.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, how long does the tea usually take?
2 minutes, because we got to steep it a bit.
Oh, okay. No, it's not bad. I was expecting like a 5-10 minute sort of.
Oh, like boil.
Yeah, like a full. Yeah, no, it's like we should have prepared it beforehand, sort of thing.
That's
But
good. I
if it's
think
done-
I kind of like this, talking while making tea, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's nice, bro. It's nice. So what's the tea again? I remember you said, but
Bro, it's just like Viet jasmine tea, bro. It's like kind of, when you had it, it was like vanilla, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah. But now they have this at fur shops pretty much everywhere. Yeah. It's either that or green tea.
That was right. Right.
Do you guys want some as well? Or? Yeah? You guys want some as well?
No.
I'll make the 3 then.
So, oh, you're not having any tea?
Yeah, 3, including me.
Oh,
Well, who's-
I think it was.
Oh, you
it was
want one
them
as
two
well? Oh, there we
We'll
go.
go all 4.
Easy, bro. All right, easy.
You got fancy cups as well up there? Oh, it's just a.
I got these, but I use them. So
Oh, okay. Let's go.
I only got the disposables.
Yeah.
Safety hazard, bro.
Safety hazard. That's it.
I can hit me up with some questions, bro.
Already?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Absolutely.
okay. We'll start off basic. What's the relationship with fashion? Why fashion? I know you're into design.
Yeah, no, I was always into fashion since I was like young. Always like wearing different clothes. Just didn't feel right when I wore the same thing as everyone else. And then, yeah, that kind of made me start into like testing out outfits and just wearing different things. But also what intrigued me as well was how an outfit can mold the body and change the perspective of everyone else and yourself. So that was one big thing that kind of got me into fashion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you always saw it from like a second lens. Like it was always you always took a second look at any piece that you wore.
Yeah, it's kind of like art when you have to have a second look at the art piece and you
Yeah.
appreciate it more.
That's it.
But yeah, no, I was always the odd one out, wearing different clothes, particularly with like being around family. They all wear the same stuff.
Yeah.
But,
So anytime at the family gathering, your mom would be like, "Look, Leo, just wear something chill." Like,
Oh no, my parents were kind of like chill about it. It's more my friends. They're like, "Oh, Leo, why can't you be normal?" I'm like,
maybe.
just being me, bro.
Yeah. No. Fair, man. Fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the fancy cup.
Oh yeah. You'll have a fancy one. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. So you obviously you liked it since you were a kid. You always felt like you're the odd one out. Why fashion? So why couldn't you do like architecture? I know you always like architecture stuff, but what led you to just leave fashion as like a? It could always been. Oh, I just like wearing odd stuff. I like the idea of it, but not something I want to do full time. Not something that.
Oh, like why do I want to do clothes?
Yeah,
So
like
something
why
else,
why is it? Well, why are we here? Why like
Yeah.
how to get to a concept store?
I think the biggest point for me was the pain point of having to always outsource the clothes that I wanted. Like all these things that were interesting to me were not accessible in Australia. That was just the first frustration with it. And then it just kept kind of snowballing when I kept buying and buying overseas, and I could never get anything that was here that I liked. Yeah, like the Korean stuff, the Japanese, Chinese designers. What started was London designers first. Yeah, Alexander McQueen and all that. Around that kind of influence of his garments. Yeah, all the designers that weren't as popular, they weren't here.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, plus the quality too. So,
Yeah, that is a big thing. Yeah, as you always say, like Australia always feels like it's 2 seasons kind of behind on what's going on everywhere else.
Yeah, and that's what I hated about it was that we always had to kind of meld as one when we're talking about fashion or wearing stuff out. Yeah, there's a big thing that we have here. It's like tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
So when you do kind of stick out and wear different clothes or experiment, it's looked at it straight away, and whether it's good judgment or bad, you feel it. And that's the tall poppy syndrome part of it. Like it's like them automatically kind of humbling you. It's like, oh, you shouldn't kind of stick out too much. But whereas when I went overseas and throughout my childhood until like now, you always see people overseas kind of like experimenting nonstop, and it was like free. Whereas here, I was like, oh, no, don't wear that.
It's like it feels like it's almost like a bit more shunned upon. Like if you're not going with the status quo, it's like seen as if you do anything, again, out of the status quo, you don't stick to what everyone else thinks in. And even if you're like I've worn some fits at some point that I'm like, okay, this fit was kind of ass. But the thing is, you had to try it, you had to experiment it, you had to see, okay, maybe is this gonna work? And then the thing that I think when even as you say, when you're younger, it's like everyone will be like, why can't you just be normal? Why can't you just wear like a normal fit? And then it's like, well, some are gonna be stinkers, some are gonna be good, but the thing is, like, you got to try it, and it's the whole expression kind of part.
Quickly get the tea for you guys.
Oh, easy. And the final fancy one.
Huh?
The final fancy one.
Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah. Easy.
No, that's yours.
Oh, sweet. Appreciate it. Yeah, it'll be put on YouTube.
It would be great to if we got like an introduction.
If you're more, let me know. Yeah.
Thank you. It's like
Okay, happy going. I'll start us off. Or do you
What
want to
happened?
start? So he's suggesting that we do a bit more of like
Oh, hi,
introduce.
yeah.
Yeah, hi, I'm this person. I'm this person as well. Yeah, there you go. I'm happy to start off. Easy.
Yeah.
So, hey everyone, I'm JJ or Ignacio. I've started off in the fashion industry about, say, 2 to 3 years ago. We started a clothing brand. We also started a brand which is where you're viewing it now, Capital Attire. We like to help out other clothing brands. We like to help them out, get more like orders online, that sort of stuff. And we also like to make content. We like to mingle. As you see here, we're doing an interview with, obviously, introduce yourself.
Fuck. You said a lot, right?
It's all good, bro.
Yeah, I'm Leo from Mob Melbourne. I'm a designer for 8 years. I started my brand 2 years ago, so it's very fresh and young. But yeah, that's pretty much all I could say at the moment. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's something that we can. It's something that we can add more to like, let's say, like the YouTube people, and then or like people that have never seen us before. They can kind of add a little thing so that they at least get our names, that sort of stuff. And then we can always put like the good, nice little snippets. Keep that stuff more on the Instagram, people that we know already. Because I'm sure everyone on my Instagram doesn't need to know who I am again.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about like full intro. I was like, just start off. But
well, I quite like starting it off a little bit more chill, because it's like I myself, I get to ease into it. I know you ease into it a bit more. Like, we finally got our tea now. I'm sure there's like some really nice moments that you get from the start as well, because it feels a bit more raw, where like if I'm looking at the camera, it feels like I'm addressing the audience more, where at the end of the day, it is kind of for the audience, but at the same time, it's like, it's for us. Like, I want to get to know, I want to ask these questions because there's things that I want to know personally about it. And then I'm sure you also like to get asked questions yourself and like to explain yourself in certain ways. And it's kind of that nice little element that I like. But I know that you've done a business degree as well. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, so I did business logistics supply chain management. And that's basically just a business degree. Yeah, that was all right. It was kind of a lot of stuff I learned. I did learn it again off just social media, to be honest. But it did open my eyes to how economics plays a big part on fashion and how the population, how they're going, affects the price of what's introduced to you. But yeah, with business, I did study fashion for a bit. Did it for like 6 to 8 months. Yeah, it was very brief, man. Business degree is the one I finished, but fashion, I went like literally to the start, like very beginning. I was like, yeah, it's because of the electives. The electives I picked were kind of like went gelling with what I wanted.
Yeah. Well, because like when you picked up a fashion degree, like I know what I'm kind of looking into when I pick up a business degree. A fashion degree, what is it? I've never been to fashion school, so what is it you're kind of looking when? Well, what did you receive, and what were you looking for when you first went for the
what I was looking for in terms of the actual degree was literally the prac work. Yeah, prac. Literally, it's like learn to cut and sew, develop your design identity, and then apply it real world and just do your showcases and do the shows.
Yeah.
Which is part of it, but the other part was like the fashion history, the what's called the textbooks you got to read, all the little type up stuff. Yeah, no prac, just
No
all
prac.
the
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you know if it goes into theory, like into more prac stuff at any point, or was like you were kind of in the situation where, because did you start the business degree first? You started them at the same time?
No,
Kinda, how did it work?
I did fashion first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was just interested.
Yeah,
In it.
and then
And I dropped it real quick. Because the reason why I dropped it real quick was because I was hesitant about it first, but I just wanted to study it because I wanted to, because I was like, oh, this is interesting. But then when I started getting into it, and obviously it's 7 months in actually, I was like, damn, this ain't what I thought it was. There was more to it. It was more, less prac, a lot of studying and just writing, history, well, you name it.
yeah, like the whole thing.
Theory based, yeah, a lot of theory.
Yeah. So how'd you end up learning more of your practical skills?
Yeah, no, I talked to the lecturer at the time and asked just an honest opinion about it, because yeah, I was just kind of restless about it, and asked him like, oh, do I need this to really pursue a brand, like a fashion brand, or like be a designer? You know, he was just like, no, like you study fashion to work in fashion ultimately. That's where a lot of people go. Like buy stuff from Kmart and Target, there's a designer there, and they studied, and that's where they went to. And obviously you can go higher and higher. There's a hierarchy, there's a corporate world to it. But yeah, he said definitely go out and meet other designers that have already established and just ask them for tips. Meet tailors, meet seamstress. I had family who were tailors and aunties who were seamstress back in the day. Just asked them to teach me. Then I found books and this YouTube tutorial. It was like pattern making.
Okay.
It's very famous. Like I forgot what it was called. It's like got millions of views and all that.
Yeah.
That one definitely did help with pattern making, because that's the most crucial part when it comes to actually making a garment, the patterns, and making it gel well. But yeah, with the cut and sew, I just learned that by hand from people I knew and people who I got introduced to because I was interested.
Yeah, and then you did it all physically as well. Like you started off doing it by yourself, and then that's when.
Yeah, start off with like making a t-shirt and trousers and try to suit, and then jackets, hoodies.
When you were like, okay.
So the hard one was dresses for me. I still need to get that right, but
yeah. So with dresses, do you think that's something that you'll completely want to do by yourself, or is it kind of like you would want to? It's like what you said before. It's like you have a design kind of philosophy.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to make, so then you could work with like another designer? Like, let's say, I don't know, someone you know that she's really, really talented, like she has some really cool ideas when it comes to dresses, that sort of stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you
like
got
you
you have like the main idea, but it's like, how do you put it into that and give the design philosophy to them? Is that something you want to do, or is it more like?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think in terms of business that it should be like that.
Yeah.
I'll be like head designer of Mob Melbourne, and then as I grow older, the business expands, then you expand the team. Because it's like with any designer brand, like Rick Owens, he obviously started his own designs, and then as he grew older and more successful with his brand, then you start hiring, then you have a team of designers. It's like one thing that everyone gets mistaken for is like Pharrell was the new creative director for Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
But he's not the designer, and he has to actually say in a lot of interviews, he's not the designer, he's the creative director. So he pushes the art, the intention, and the branding of who he's in charge of, which is Louis Vuitton. And then the designers who have been obviously studied designers as a designer, they do the work. They make the garments and he approves, say yes or no. Yeah, that's it. Like Tom Ford. Tom Ford was also the creative director, and that's how they move to different factions or different designers, designer labels. They implement their creative power to that brand and revitalize it. Like when Tom Ford went to Gucci and made it explode. And then from that, he got more branding for his own brand. And went really successful.
The whole thing. Okay, that's a really, really cool. So what, is that something that you would want to do? You would eventually want to be the creative director, or do you always want to kind of have like
control of the design?
Yeah, like there would always be a point. Like let's say you have kind of like what we have in the store here. There's going to be a lot of items that can be kind of offloaded to someone else, and then you can just approve, disapprove. But there's
Mm.
always going to be like the couple staple pieces that it's like
From me.
yeah, like you
Yeah.
you still enjoy designing to
Yeah.
like to the core. So it's like, okay, I still want to do them, or is it something that it's
No,
like
I want to do that.
yeah,
Like, I want to make like be the like say I have a big customer base and they
Mm.
approach me. Can you make this suit for me?
Oh,
Custom
okay.
made by Leo, the head designer.
There we go. Okay.
And that's what I want. I want to still be able to do that.
Mm.
Still be obviously excited for that.
Mm.
But yeah, that's something I never want to stop in terms of design. Is still making clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to just like leave it and then people are like not like randoms just look after and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can trust some people, but I still want to have my like signature on clothes.
Yeah. It's
Like it means a lot to me. Like I like the craft.
That's it. That's it.
Like some
But,
people who
yeah.
make buildings, you know.
Yeah. True.
Mm.
So it's almost like that. Like the blazer that you have. That obviously you sampled up now, and then you're getting the actual stock for it. Like that would be something that, let's say, if now you had an entire team, you had your entry level designers, you had your high tier designers, you maybe even had someone as a creative director as well. Something like that would be more of a staple. Like, no, this is Leo's design. This is mine, and it's like if someone wants it, cool. And they also kind of get the title that like, no, this is like the custom one of one Leo.
In like that, the business side of that sense, there's. I'll use Rick Owens as an example. Like he makes a wedding dress for someone.
Yeah.
And he's in charge of that. He makes it hand, or he designs it, sketch in 3D, whatever. He has the full control of the design.
Yeah.
And then there's a general brand or general side of brand, which is sold to the mass public, which has his identity, but he lets that mass producing be looked after by just the design team he hired.
Yeah.
As long as they follow his philosophies.
That's pretty.
That's fine. But that's the general, what's called way of a lot of designer brands. They have their team and then they have the designer. And you pay extra money for their stuff.
Yeah, of course.
You got to be prestigious or whatever, or like know the person, like all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like no, not anyone can just go to the website and say, "Oh yeah, I want this." It's
Of course
like,
not. Yeah.
It's like if you knew him, if you knew Leah, whatever. And it's the same thing. Like I can, let's say, like if I'm gonna wear the blazer because I know I want that thing. If I'm gonna wear it back, like let's say in Perth, like there's gonna be people that ask me, and then I'm gonna say, "Oh yeah, it's from this brand," but I'm not sure if you're putting it on the website or not. Like
not yet.
There you go. It's kind of like it's a cool thing for me to wear as well because I can say like, oh no, like I had to do an interview for this. Like kind of like I can't just rock in.
I flew to Melbourne.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, like I went there in person, so it's kind of cool that way. But because anyway, I like how you always mix the fashion element because I know you love designs as well, but whenever I talk to you, you're always very, very business minded, which from me speaking to so many, from me speaking to so many brand owners, like the thing I love about fashion is that it's a perfect mix of business and fashion together. And it's like, you can't go one without the other. I've seen people do way too business and then you get like it's like very copy paste.
Style.
Yeah, exactly. That sort of stuff. And then you get people that are over designed, but then they can't understand like, I remember when we went for tea that one time, like you were even talking about like, oh yeah, no, this is how I'm going to do the cash flow of the business. And I'm like, it's like, you have no idea how little someone will say something as simple as like cash flow. And it's not like this crazy term that will be thrown out there, but a lot of people that I speak to kind of sit more in the category of, oh, they're more of a designer. So I really like the kind of the business mind as well that you kind of have to.
Yeah, actually, you're right, man. Like when I was talking to other designers, I would talk about business and positioning, where they would put their stores and all that. I'm like, do you guys think about that? It's like, oh no, we just have faith with the event organizers to put them in a good place. And I'm like, do you guys negotiate price? And he's like, no. I'm like, damn. Yeah, I'm like, so I asked him, like, so I always negotiate price and I always try to say, can you put me in like that position in the middle? And they're like, no, we never asked. I'm like, oh shit. That was actually mind opener when you brought that up. I was like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. Same with the rent here. Yeah. Like when I pay for this store, I haggle so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say, I know no one's gonna rent this place, so give me a better price.
Yeah.
I literally say it like that. And I'm lucky to meet a leasing agent who's kind of like bounces off that too.
Yeah.
So we negotiate price.
Because there will always be the people that, because I've met some people that they're very, very super like, they're almost against anything business related. As soon as you mention
Yeah.
anything business, they're like, no, they just, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it. And they're not receptive. Where some other people, like, again, some leasing agents, they're like, oh, I like that you banter back. And they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, let's work. We'll find something fair.
Yeah, like I saved like $2,000 a month because I was negotiating.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
It amazes me like how people don't do it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, have to learn this stuff just from where my standpoint starting as a designer. Trying to get into industries, you got to learn more than just a normal like fashion student who has those surroundings.
Yeah.
Of fashion, you know.
Yeah, like a good question I'd like to ask is like, what would kind of be the recommendation for like a younger you or like someone kind of starting off that they're like, okay, I want to do fashion, I want to make my own brand. Not so much that I want to get into, like, because let's say if let's say I'm fresh from high school and I want to start working in some fashion brand. Okay, obviously going to fashion school is probably a really, really good idea.
Yeah.
But starting your own brand, it's kind of like, as kind of you said, like you did 6 months of it. And then, I mean, have a look at this. Like, this is a really, really well done concept store. Where would kind of you stand on like someone comes to you, like it's your little cousin and he's like, look, I want to start it. But I don't know if I want to do a business degree. Do I just learn it online? Do I do fashion school? What would you tell him and say, hey, this is really good for this. This is really good for this. What's kind of the advice you'd give them?
I actually had a lot of people ask me that. And they're obviously into fashion. I like their style and they like really want to showcase their art and see it on people. Because their art comes to life and that's amazing to see. But yeah, I always, look, there's nothing wrong with the degree. What I feel that when you do the degree, you're kind of just like riding the wave when you're at uni. Yeah. Everyone does that, and that's the downside to it. Everyone rides the wave, they enjoy the community part of it, and then once it's over, now it's real world.
Yeah. One
thing that is a risk when you do a degree with anything is finding the purpose and finding your identity.
Yeah. If
you come in with no identity with any kind of degree and you come out of it with no identity, then you're lost again. Yeah. And then you go do a master's and you do like a completely different degree, just trying to still find yourself. And how I kind of put it to other people is that calculate the years that you're going to spend trying to build that brand. Would you want to start and find your identity now, or study first, listen and just do the work, and then work in another industry or work in the same industry under someone, just working, getting money, and trying to find an identity, or get out of it, work your butt off with another job, but that at least gives you time in the night to just find yourself. That's what the risk I found with just degrees is just like the identity part. Yeah, you wanna, cause it's just more like when I found out from other people when they studied that in fashion or even business, coming out of it, they're like, oh, why did I study this? I don't need it now.
Yeah,
you know?
It's very...
Only for like a select few who were very like zoned in, developed their identity, did the shows and went hard on it, which is the very, very, very few. They went good, you know? But for the most part with other people who just want to get it started now, I feel like the degree would bore them and would distract them from finding their design language or their unique signature in a piece.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost one thing I find, I found at uni as well, is like, it's a very, if you can hit your 50%, and then that's kind of what you strive for. Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then you're almost as if you're still striving towards something, you're still doing something. So that's enough of a distraction. It's like when a good thing at a wrong time is like the actual bad thing. Because it's almost as if you're doing the degree, but exactly what you said, you haven't found your identity. Like you're going to come in and come out the exact same person just with a piece of paper now. Like, yeah, you're going to know the stuff, but at the end of the day, like one thing that, I think it was one thing my dad instilled in me. He's like, look, the university degree at the end of the day is a piece of paper. It's like the standard of knowledge of whatever industry you're kind of getting into. It's like the baseline knowledge. And it's not like you can't learn it on your own. Like you can very much learn it on your own, in my opinion. but it's also like I think it's a really interesting point on you have to kind of find yourself, because if it's you're just distracted. Like
Yeah, if you don't
can't do
find
anything.
yourself, you just wasted like, realistically speaking,
Yeah.
going to the workforce in that industry, you wasted 5 years, 5 to 6 years,
Yeah.
and then imagine implementing that time on the brand. Imagine
Yeah.
implementing 4 years on it, and really nourishing and building community.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you're starting a bit later, and you're like, oh shit, I'm getting a bit old. I've got rent now. I got a mortgage. I got a girlfriend. I got a boyfriend. You know, I got life. So that's one thing people got to consider if you really want to do a brand. Brand takes time. Branding is a long term.
Yeah.
Right. And branding is very important to a designer, because it's the trust and the knowledge of your audience that they love your work. They were there for you, and they'll continually support you through years out. But if you don't have that branding, you just start out, you just show your stuff. Yeah, it's like the online world. You just kind of like, oh, that's nice, scroll it.
Yeah.
And just go away.
And then it smooths out. And even one thing I find interesting is that I look at, and again, this is kind of why I like the industry. It's the fashion degree and the business degree. Arguably, when you finish it, you don't know what job you have lined up. No. Like it's considerably one of the ones that you'd kind of pick it to do your own thing. And it kind of leaves you in a point that I don't know what to do. Like, let's say if you go to be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, like you finish it and then you kind of know, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer. Like there's still somewhat of a progression, and you see the step where I can see a lot of people finishing a business degree or a fashion degree, and then they go, okay, what now? It's like, okay, finally time to start my thing, but
what is it exactly?
Yeah, exactly. It's like
that's like a good percentage of a lot of uni students, to be honest, especially the newer generation. Back then, you can pin focus and like pick like one thing, like accounting, marketing, fashion. You can literally just be a design team, very straight to it. Now we're too distracted, so we just get, like you said, P's get the degrees, so we just want to do it just to let time pass while you think about what you want to do, but then you don't really think about what you want to do. You just want to live.
That's it.
So that's definitely the biggest thing I do say to people who want to start their own clothing brand or be a designer is really think about your identity. Yeah. Because that's what you're putting on the garments, your signature, you.
Yeah.
In the garment.
100%.
Not just the normal garment slap on a label.
Yeah. Oh, well, even then, it kind of leads to what, like, I find something interesting, like the way, like, obviously you don't just slap your name or your label on something, like, and then you're like, yeah, let's call it a day, cool, we'll see if it works well. What's kind of like, what's like the design philosophy coming into it? Like, how do you start off with something like, okay, I need to start a new piece. What do I look at? Do I look at plants? Do I look at buildings? Like, how does that philosophy kind of go into the design?
That's more like interpersonal development of how you want to portray your garments of you, because you're an artist at the end of the day. Yeah. And you like, clothes is literally art, and then on someone the art comes to life, and that's the beauty of it. Yeah. With like my design philosophy, it's really down to 2 words, which is structure and depth. Oh, 3 words, sorry. Structure, depth, and elevation. Yeah. And that's what the brand is about, is when you do wear Mob Melbourne, it brings you to an elevated living. So when you are in my garments, you feel more stronger, more elevated and structured, and have depth and character. Yeah. So I got to that point because when I was growing up, I was quite lonely. And because of that, I was shy. I missed out on a lot of opportunities growing up. And then when I reconnected with family, met new friends, what that provided for me was like a sense of community. Like, obviously, it provided community, and that community provided structure for me to grow. And then through meeting different people, that exposed me to different cultures, which cultures provided depth in character. Okay. So when you have structure, depth in character, mix that in one, is an elevated individual, because you have more perspective, you have more strength, you can walk the earth with more knowledge of your surroundings and confidence. Yeah. Which brings me to elevation. Yeah. So Mob Melbourne about the elevated individual. Okay. Yeah, so that's how it ties in all together. There you go. Because that kind of ties it back into the reason why you like the mob mentality kind of so much, because it's strength in numbers. Yeah. And exactly. With people, comes community and culture.
There you go.
And community culture is structure and depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one thing I always find really interesting is that there's a lot of people. Not I don't really say a lot of people, but there are some people that they say it takes like a whole village to raise a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I know what it's like to be lonely, and you lose, man. Like you everyone's like, oh, lone wolf this. You can't. At the end of the day, wolves have their pack.
Yeah, exactly.
So you definitely need like that community to help structure you, so you can jump off and you have that network, you know. And then obviously meeting people, you just dive deep into different perspectives, different cultures, and then that's depth in character.
Yeah.
So that's literally my my identity in design is structure and depth.
Yeah.
So all my pieces are about good fabrics that look strong and have a really sharp look. And the depth is the texture and obviously the double layering.
Yeah.
That's where I'm applying it ever since my Adorn collection. From then on, that's all been my design language, my design philosophies. Before that, it was like kind of just starting out trying to get people to know my name and know the brand, just know me. But after the Adorn range, which is my hoodies with the collar, that's all my design philosophy.
There you go. It kind of fully blossomed into what you were kind of looking for.
And that took years, obviously, and for me to put that into a garment, that took a lot of time, like to really understand how I felt and how I want people to feel when they wear my stuff. You know? Yeah. To show that art, because the art is obviously can instigate a feeling towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what with a lot of fashion designers have to really think about.
Yeah.
How do you want them to feel how you feel in your garments as you express it? There's a lot to it.
Yeah, there's a lot. But no, that's one thing I like. I really enjoy because and this is one thing that for me when I first started kind of getting more into the fashion industry that I actually found super interesting is that everyone does kind of have their reason for starting something, and not only their reason for starting something, but exactly what you said. It's like it's a feeling that you have to try and get whoever wears it to have that same feeling that you had when you made it.
Yeah.
And for me, I was amazed at that, and the fact that I'm a numbers person, I like business as well. So that's kind of for me. I was like, cool. This is it. Let's go with it.
And there's definitely like information that tells me that a lot of people are looking for stuff that has some sort of meaning to it, has some sentimental value, and then they will pay more. Yeah. Obviously, there's fast fashion, and people just want to, but people buy the dupes that are really cheap. But why do they want to buy it? Because there's some sentimental value to the design. Like that's why I hate when people say, "Oh, you don't need designers." You do need designers. You don't need the whole luxury tag.
Yeah,
But,
true.
Like the whole for one jacket, it'd be like $10,000. Like maybe if they personally made it for you, but if it's like mass produced, no. Yeah, like Loro Piana and all that, they really hand make it, so it explains the price point. But then you got the branding on top.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the whole collage is a whole thing. But I do very much see that the fast fashion, it's like it almost kind of degrades the other stuff, but it also adds more light to it because it's almost as if you have to have it's like the yin and yang. You got to have the bad with the good. So the fast fashion,
it just makes it accessible to people who like a certain design. Once they find it in the fast fashion market, you can say as a designer, like, look, I'm annoyed at you because you didn't support me, but I like you because you like my design.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like when you start getting duped or getting copied by other people, it's a form of flatterness or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Flattery?
Yeah, flattering.
Yeah.
It's flattering to know that people want to copy your work.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, you could have just whatever. You still like it? It's cool.
Yeah.
So we're obviously in your concept store. Every time I've talked to you, you love going in depth about where you want everything placed in an in-store setting. As you say, you love to haggle for an exact position next to certain stores. You could have gotten this store next to a Nike, but you're like, nah, I don't want it. I want it here specifically compared to the other place. What's the big fascination behind not only an in-person store, but the way it's designed, how it tells it's kind of like it tells your story.
So what was it? Like what?
Yeah, so like what's the fascination behind the in-person design?
Why really go hard on the concept store kind of
thing? That sort of stuff.
Well, it's important it's like an artist when they need an exhibition for their art. Same as garments. The garments need an exhibition. It's for the artist to express their their efforts, their design language to the audience who's receiving it. It's important to have a store that reflects that and reflects the garments and complements it, like a nice house. It's like why a builder likes building a nice house and selling it. There's a satisfaction to it, especially to the buyer. They're like, oh, this is really nice, and the builder's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Like you appreciate my craft, my efforts. But with the concept store, it's there to complement and provide a real world experience for people who do like the designs to fully experience the world of the artist or the designer. That's one reason why I'm so heavy on concept stores and instead of online. Like when I am online, it's just a scroll, you know? And it's very, very rare when I see a designer brand show their fantasy world and really bring me in. Whereas if I see it at like a real world, like when I went to Vietnam and when I went to like China and all that, when you actually go to their stores, like, oh, it's beautiful. Like you want to buy everything, you know? But when you're online, you're like, oh, I'll just buy that, just one. You know, but when I'm at overseas, I'm like, oh, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. You know what? I'm going to buy it. And I'm like, I love this store. I love the smell. I love the experience with talking with the designer or the worker, and they're passionate too. That's even more endearing as a consumer to buy their designs.
It's like it adds because even then I've had a couple of times where going into a store, it's like the worker there has their own clothing brand as well. So it adds like it's almost like a massive tree that it kind of starts off at like this one place and then it branches off into this like grand story that kind of came from the one sort of place. Like, I know one.
There's lots. I don't have the sketch here, but it's at home. Yeah. And then the rings, I already know what to. Like I handmade this ring.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Die, bro.
Yeah.
So you got the whole thing.
I made this one. That's my ring.
Yo, that's sick.
Yeah. I made one for me and my girlfriend.
That is sick.
Are they both the
Ring.
are they both the exact same one? Or they're like
She's got gold plated. So we went.
Okay.
So I found an excuse to go to a jewelry maker as a couple thing, right? And they give you a list of things to only make. And I was like, oh, can I make like this sketch?
Did you do that on purpose of having like almost like an affinity?
Yeah.
Yo, that's sick.
Yeah, because it's meant to represent me in. Sounds fucking lame.
Yeah, but I know.
That's sick though. Like,
yeah, because so the meaning behind this is that it's infinity, but it's because it's big and small. It's like life goes up and down. You're always together forever.
Yeah.
That sounds.
I like it, bro. I like it.
Yeah, but no, when
I got it.
Threw up the sketch, I was like, oh, can we try and make this?
I know if you. I know the day you told your girlfriend the exact reason as to why it's like that, she would have eaten it up. She would have been like, "Oh my god, this is it."
Plus, it was affordable because we were in Vietnam.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and also chill about it. I was like, "Oh damn, like you happy to make that?" It's like, yeah.
There we go. Easy. All right. So wait. So real quick, what's kind of the piece that you have the most attachment to?
Oh, these ones.
This one up there.
Yeah. So this is my blazer. So it's called Duple. So it took a lot of time to really obviously make the sample, just to bring in 3 pieces into one. And yeah, with the metal and with the zipper, it was very time consuming. And the second one is this blazer too. So the issue I always had with it when I was making it was just the sizings in certain areas, so like the waist especially. So I had difficulties kind of getting it fitted around here. So when you wore it, you know how it's kind of fitted to your waist?
Yeah, it kind of fits everything. Yeah.
Looks nice, right? I'll put this back. Before, the waist was too wide, so it would make you look like a bottle. Same as with this blazer jacket as well. The waist was just too wide. And I had to keep kind of bring it down to make it a V shape. Cool. Yeah, now the blazer puffer jacket, which is what I'm wearing now, and the Duple blazer. Yeah, the issues, obviously with blazers, is a lot of tailoring. Yeah. A lot of redos because of a new item that's not very traditional. If you made a normal blazer, you can just tweak little bit here and there, but I'm adding pieces to it. Like I'm adding like a full zip up jacket. I'm adding a interior vest.
Yeah.
So you got to really be peculiar with how you measure each piece.
Yeah.
The issue I did have with them was that it's too wide at the bottom. So it'd be like,
Oh, okay. So
like an hourglass,
I
but
see.
not really an hourglass, like too top heavy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then now it's like a nice V shape, looks sharp. When I wear it, it looks slick.
Yeah.
Like when you wear it, it looks
Yeah,
slick.
no, that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. It's really, it's a very big. I also like the idea of being able to do, because I see a bunch of people in design wear, all of that stuff. They go crazy. They make these avant-garde sort of stuff, but they make it more for like denim streetwear sort of stuff. Like they'll make a denim hoodie look avant-garde and this crazy thing, but I don't see it so much that people do it for normal, like just suits and like dress
To be
pants.
worn.
Yeah, exactly, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Where
I mean, that's kind of what haute couture is just like the art pieces.
yeah,
But I think like me and you, we just want a piece that we can wear that looks great.
yeah, that's it. And like, and here's the thing: you can still wear that. Like, I could wear that to any sort of ball, dinner, and it's not like, okay, this guy pulled up wearing wings or something. It's over the top. Like, it's not functional at all. It's cool, but like, I can't wear that ever.
You want to be like slick.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to be like every slick. Like you want to be like the one.
That's it. Just
Elevated living, elevated pieces from Mob Melbourne.
There you go.
But yeah, these pieces there's a lot of effort going into it, because it definitely portrays my design language, structure and depth. Yeah, it's a good structured piece. It has a lot of depth and character of the piece, and obviously when it's worn on someone, it brings it to life, and you just see how beautiful it is.
That's it. So if we were to go back to like, take 18-year-old Leo that obviously has this big dream of like, okay, I want to do this and this. I want to make this fashion thing work.
Yeah.
And then you went to him now and you just showed him obviously the piece you're wearing now and the blazer, and you said, hey, look, this is what we've made in the future. Like, how would he react? Well, what do you think the feelings that you like, feel?
Yeah, man, you went really complex. Like you really showed design. You didn't slap on a label. You didn't just do a basic hoodie. You didn't just do something that everyone could do. You actually went out and applied your art.
Yeah, and actually did something like.
Yeah, me back then, I wouldn't have believed it.
Really?
Yeah, if I saw myself in the future and showed me, oh, look at this jacket, bro. It's like, oh, damn, you made that? It's like, yeah, shit. That's what I would think, bro. Like, damn, man, you actually made that. It's like, yeah. How long did that take? Oh, a couple of years, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep grinding, bro.
Keep grinding, bro. You got it. Yeah.
No, legit. No, but it's always really, really cool because that's something that I always envision. It's like the future you in say 5, 10 years, whatever. You always wonder, oh, how am I gonna be then? Like even now, you could argue, okay, what am I gonna? What's this gonna look like in 5 years? Like, I wonder how cool it's gonna be. But what was like a 18-year-old you? Was it where you are now? Was this something you always saw, or was it kind of like a?
Yeah, I always saw that I was gonna pursue something with creativity. Clothes, I was pretty like just straightforward, just to go with clothes. I just love clothes. Like I love wearing nice. Well, first it's quality, and then nice standout pieces that don't look too flashy. Yeah. Like too like, what's the point of that? Yeah. You know. I like. I think probably could stem from anime. You know, when you see the anime outfits, it's like, damn, I want to wear that.
They look tough. Right? Yeah. They look tough. It was there any times like in, like was there any shows when you were younger? Like you were like, that show always had some amazing outfits. You loved the aesthetic of it. If there was any show that you could kind of grab back to that kind of childhood memory of like.
Bleach was heavy. I didn't actually watch Bleach, but I always saw the covers. And just the manga. Yeah. Yeah, their outfits are pretty cool. That was a big one actually, Bleach. And what else? I think anime nowadays too have a lot of influence too on gaming. There we go.
Okay.
I play Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. And there was a lot of outfits there, like Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
The nobodies.
Okay.
And they were slick.
Yeah.
But they look cool in their outfits as well. Like, and obviously I saw a lot of crop stuff too, and I'm like, oh, this looks mad. I might try it. Not too to the belly, but like just slightly cropped.
Yeah, so slightly there. Yeah. So it was always that you just any game you kind of played, like obviously
because the artist has freedom in terms of how they want to showcase their character, and yeah, now they applied their character design, and I'm like, that's this dope design, and I'm like, that's looks mad. And I have applied it, like even Final Fantasy. Zach Fair, who's Cloud's mentor, he had an outfit that I really liked, was very military, but it had like the turtleneck. It was nice,
okay,
man. It was
yeah,
like he had the high waist pants but double belted. The boots, it looked slick. Yeah, same as his mentor Angel, which had similar outfit. And Sephiroth, he's got the coat, looks like almost German, like Hugo Boss look.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, that's sick. But that's always the things that is super interesting. Like you go back and it's almost like these ideas that you have now that kind of get reincorporated. You always took it from like it's at some point in your childhood. It's like the game you play, like whatever it is. That's kind of the stuff that gets envisioned. Like I remember one game I used to play when I was young. It was Destiny, and I always loved how it was like that kind of grunge. Tech, it was like that grunge tech, futuristic kind of look, but it was never done over the top. I always loved how everything, like how the silhouettes, the designs on it, like for me.
Destiny has a sick storyline though.
Yeah, no, legit. They've gone crazy with it. I remember when I got the original one. I don't think I played much of the second, but I played the crap out of the original. That's all I did as a kid. I just play games. Like what else do you do as a kid that doesn't like to go out too much? That's it.
Just play games, right?
That's it.
That's why I say to everyone when they start the brand, if you want to do it yourself, you need to have to learn how to act. Like a lot of influencers know how to act.
That's it.
You know how hard it is to actually talk to a camera?
It's so difficult.
It's actually worse. It's like you're talking to nothing, you're not engaging with anything, just an inanimate like object, and then you have to like pretend that someone's there. That's why it's so much easier to talk to you. You're talking back,
It's feels casual, it feels more real, and it's like, so what? There's a camera filming it, because it's not like you're talking to it. You're talking to a person, and it is very much like that. Like the TikTok things, I think a lot of this generation is a lot more. Yeah,
this is like going back to like the self-doubt part. It's like the doubt part just comes out is how can I improve my acting in front of camera? There's so many influencers who already got it down pat before they even released their clothing brand, and that took 5 years. And then they released their brand, and everyone loves them, and they're really good at the front of the camera, talking to no one. Like this is my biggest thing I always have in my head. Always doubt myself. It's like, oh, it's not enough that I'm doing. I have to do the acting part. I have to be the entertainer. And that's what always gets in my head. Like, but at the end of the day, it takes time. And like doing this interview is a good time, So
it takes it's a lot of, and even arguably, there's a lot of skills that get built up that lead you to the things. But at the same token, it's like, what is it we're trying to do at the end of the day? Is it you're trying to make something super quick? Like it's like the fast fashion versus having something that's stable and it sits there, because it's like arguably you want to make something that you're not remembered for who you were. You're remembered by the thing that you made, or the thing is remembered but you're long gone. That makes sense. Like that would be, for me, is a really intriguing idea.
Like a legend.
It's like that. It's like, I don't, like the guy who invented, I don't know, like a certain type of chair, a certain type of table, or a light. Like a lot of their names are gonna go like forgotten about, but it's it's a staple piece that they like. But it is hard. I mean, the self-doubt, I think, kind of plays.
The one thing that gets me out of that self-doubt from back then until now is just already like knowing the information that they're good actors. They're really good in front of the camera.
That's it.
They're trained. They have 5 years on top of you.
That's
all. That's literally gets me out of that mindset super quick now. Like you see people doing all these skits or doing this cute stuff, but they put a tripod there. They set it right there. They took a take. They redid it, but they made it authentic, and they trained themselves to show that authenticity and show their skills of acting and entertaining. And that's what I like accepted, and I'm learning myself.
To try to get more onto it. So, I mean, I know there's a huge self-doubt whenever it comes to, obviously, being able to like act kind of in front of the camera, getting that personal branding thing. But what's more like, did you have any self-doubt that came from, let's say, like family? Like I know, like let's say with my parents, so I'm originally from Argentina. Like I have Latin parents, so the idea of telling my mom, like saying, hey, like I don't want to do uni, I want to pursue this thing. it's a malfunction.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
an
yeah.
error thing.
It's
So,
like, oh, what happened here?
yeah, exactly. And the same thing with the creative thing. Like I'm assuming, did that ever happen with you? What was that kind of like? Or
Obviously, throughout the years, me and my dad would butt heads. He's like, oh, why don't you be an electrician and all that? And I'm like, I don't want to always do the work. I want to hire someone to do the work. I did the opposite of what my dad did. My dad would slave away, always tired. And I want to be not that. Right? I want to learn it, but get someone to do it. I'll be wealthy enough to just get someone to do it real quick, instead of potentially putting myself in an injury, hurt my back, saving away being a trade, you know. But when I did open up and tell my mum and dad I wanted to do a business, at that point I was doing very well with my part-time or my full-time job, so I was making some money. They were like, yeah, try it out. I think when it got to a point where the tryout went really well, they're like, oh, good job, son. And they were just kind of quiet about it at the start. But they've always been supportive, my mum and dad, in their own separate ways. My mum's been more vocal, my dad's more like shows me the electrical, how to do electrical parts, and I just like all this sliding I did. Yeah, just it's easy. But yeah, they always been supportive since day one. Obviously they had their fears, but when I really, because I was really aggressive with pushing my brand out.
Yeah.
Like I did pop-ups nonstop. Normally a brand starts online for a few months and then drop it, or they go quiet for a bit and try to do pop-ups. I went pop-ups 1 month in. I met Mel Yu, who owned a brand called Ego Expo, and she opened me up to pop-ups and stalls and having that physical store. So if I didn't have that, it would be a way slower progression with my brand. But yeah, I was really hard at it, and with all those pop-ups, I did make a lot in the small time frame. So like in like a 5-day pop-up store, I could make 3K. Okay, that's pretty good for a brand that just started. With other stores that I did 7 days, I could make 2.5. I could make 7. What it did for me was teach me skills with the brand, people skills, money, negotiation, and brand positions, and all that. And my parents saw that, and it gave them confidence that I'm pursuing something well and it's doing some sort of return. And now when I say I want to quit, they're like, no, you're not quitting.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. No, but with other family members, they got more quiet. My core family members, they were like really supportive, but the others like, oh, this is nice. Never visited the store, never bought anything. They're like, oh,
it's like more from the back end, and then like you honestly never know if it ever like this huge thing. They might turn around and say, hey, we're super supportive. It might not happen, who knows. But it's an interesting thing that you say, like, well, was there ever a point that you wanted to quit? Was there?
Yeah, last year, when I did a pop-up in Fountain Gate, that was dead. That was like, I lost money on that. I think I lost 5,000, just due to rent and not making sales. But that was my fault though. I opened up, and just last quarter of July to September, and those general periods in retail, the rule there is it's dead.
Yeah.
You don't make nothing there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe I'll give it a go, experience it. It was bad, man. It was like, I cried. Yeah, I cried. I was like, there's no one buying it. Everyone loves it, but then no one's buying it. And it was just that bad time of the year. Yeah, and then luckily my mum and my girlfriend pulled me out of the headspace, because it was just quiet in general, just in terms of life. Like that period, it's like cold, hailing, winter blues. I had it real bad that time, and I almost quit, like just the brand in general. But no, I got my head out of that, recuperated some sales when I released the hoodies, and then I'm still with it, bro.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, released my 4 Seasons range, was the blazers and the shirts.
Yeah, and then that's obviously it's done wonders. So that was like the pinnacle of like the hardest kind of point in, you'd say, your journey like so far. Yeah,
the first year, obviously, and the first 2 years, or anything within the 5 years is literally the breaking points of any business. If you make it past 5 years, or I always meet business owners or cafe owners or whatever, I'm like, how long have you been running this? I'm like, 15 years. I'm like, congratulations, man. You made something out of it. You're chill. When it's a lot of brands that are starting 0 to 5 years, it's touchy. Anything can happen, man. Like the branding is not long enough. The marketing can be really good at the start, and then you just die off within 2 years because you're like, oh, there's nothing new with you. You're just doing the same formula. So, yeah, I'm still young. I'm still like 2 years now. I'm making really hard moves with doing the store, with online. I haven't really touched with Meta ads, obviously. I just did Boost, like Instagram Boost.
That's it.
But,
I see most people end up just doing that. They boost a couple of things and they call it.
But I will. The next step is familiarize with Meta ads, putting that online market and capitalizing on top of this physical store, and just jump on from there. That's what I'm hoping.
But yeah, legit. I mean, in my opinion, I think the interviews turned out great. I mean, it's very. I kind of like touching on the nostalgia kind of points of view because it feels very. It's like that. It's you're going back to your childhood sort of thing, and you can relive those moments. Like I want to say thanks, obviously, for sharing kind of a bit more of those personal moments because it is hard. Like I mean, like if you want me to admit on the internet that I've cried, I mean it's gonna take me a bit. Like I'm not gonna do it so easily as well. So like I do appreciate you like sharing it up as well, but.
I feel like it, just to tap into like being your emotions, it's good to admit when things are tough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like there's always going to be tough period. And I think everyone kind of goes through it and you understand the tough period. It's like you can't get to the next point without going through it. Yeah. You can't, like what I say to a lot of people that they're very hesitant on jumping into something because I've done lots of like I think I see the other side of the tunnel, but I'm not 100% sure, but I need to just leap anyway and just see what happens. Worst case, what? You lose more money, but it is what it is, whatever. A big thing that I think was always told to me is that the person that got you up to this point won't be the person that gets you to the next point. So a part of you needs to change. So whether or not it's you don't like taking leaps of faith, it's like maybe you need to change a little bit or evolve how you are to be a person that takes leaps to be able to get to the next stage. Because otherwise it's like you get boxed up, you get stuck, and then almost like what you kind of said, it's like you get in this headspace where there's like a downward spiral and an upward spiral. So one good thing happens and the next, and then you're like feels great, but it can also happen on the downwards. And
no, I agree because back then I could not like string a sentence, man. I used to start up. Like I said, I was like grew up lonely and like I wasn't. Like I missed out on a lot in life. Like when I was early on, I could not talk with my hands. Like I just naturally talk with my hands. Now meeting more people and all that just bring me up more confidence and be able to string a sentence.
Yeah, legit. I think it was also, I would say it's the pop-ups as well.
Yes, definitely the pop-ups, right?
From doing the pop-ups, you have to sit there and it's like, well, it's like, there's going to be a lot of sales there. It's the difference between whether or not someone buys is like, if you're cheery, if you're happy, if you get along with them, that sort of stuff. And if you don't, then I don't think, there's a lot of people that are just going to look and say, oh, this is cool, but that's it. They don't catch the same vibe, the element you're trying to give. But legit, man. No, I've had an absolute pleasure doing the interview, bro. It's super casual. You brought even the tea out. Like, I want to get a shot of the tea machine. I'm gonna move this just in case, but I want to get a shot of the tea because, in my opinion, it looks super cool and it adds to like the whole thing. When I saw it on your Instagram, I was like, I was like, that makes sense for the thing. Like, if you're gonna get a fountain, even though there's gonna be people that slip, like maybe on the table, or like over there. Like it's a cool idea. I wouldn't bash the fountain idea. It'll be cool. But either way, it's been a pleasure. Any wrapping up thoughts or?
No, it was a really good interview, man. I really appreciate the talk and thanks for having me and actually bringing all this together.
Yeah,
it's a big surprise and a good surprise to have all this planned out and it's good.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure, Leo.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Easy. Thank you, bro. All right, cool. Easy.
All right, cool.
I like it, bro.
Amazing questions.
Yeah?
Brilliant. Answers brilliant.
That's cool, bro. That's cool.
Nice.
I'm gassed about this.
Yeah.
All righty.
Good.
Great. both of you guys.
When you guys put the mics on me the first time, that's when I was like, okay, I'm feeling it a bit. Yeah. This is it's serious now.
Yeah.